Once you have edited your image and are ready to get it on the web, you need to save it in a format, size, and resolution that are going to work for your web page, message board, or email client, and for the people accessing your image. You have to identify what quality you need this image to be, because it will affect the download times for the image and therefore how long it takes for your web page to come up. For example, if it is going to be a thumbnail or very small image like this, then what you don't want to do is take a large image, put it into your web page, and just tell it to show smaller. The big file will still be there and it will take a long time for your page to load. If you do need to have a large detailed image for people to look at, you probably still don't want it on your home page for the same reason. It will take too long to load. We will take a look at how to deal with these types of issues. Now, let's take a look at the image we created. We are viewing it at 100%, and if we look at inches in our rulers, this is a pretty big image. For our purposes, we will be using Photoshop to do the adjustments, but most image editing programs can do this. In our first scenario, let's say we have a space on our web page that is 300 pixels wide by 200 pixels. Web pages typically measure in pixels as opposed to inches or centimeters because you never know what the resolution will be of the monitor in which it will be displayed. What you want to do is make your image this exact size with a resolution that is appropriate. The image looks okay and doesn't need to be cropped, so we will proceed to resize. Let's change the width to 300 pixels. As you can see, the height changes automatically. If your number is less than 200 and you need to put in 200 for the height, this will change the width to something larger than 300 and you will have to crop. These types of adjustments always need to be done, and it is a little bit of back and forth sometimes to get it just right. If the width of 300 produced a height greater than 200, then some cropping will have to occur. Now that you have the size down, take a look at the overall file size. It is much smaller. Now, to the resolution. This resolution is much too high. Let's cut that down to 72, as is appropriate for the web. When we go to save this file, we can see the size. If you recall, for raster images, there are three main types of files that are used on the web. That means that the web browsers commonly support displaying them. They are JPEG for pictures and GIF and PNG for images with larger areas of common color. Just remember that GIF only works well for relatively uniform images with fewer than 256 colors, like a logo perhaps. For our purposes and this image, GIF should work very well. Let's take a look. Select File, and instead of just Save As, Photoshop makes this very easy with a Save for Web function. As you can see, there are several useful features, such as up top, you can select things like For Up. This will bring up 4 different optimized versions of the image, so you can play with them individually and try out things like JPEG and GIF side by side. Some tricks like dithering can make the edges look nice, but will also use up colors from your limited GIF palette. If you really need to make your small file very small, get rid of dithering and cut your colors right down, like this. Now, check out the size. Wow, that's a big difference. Now, scenario 2. You want to go online to sell your precious and hopefully really valuable action figures. The selling site is allowing you to send a small 100 by 100 pixel image and a larger image no bigger than 150K. You took a high quality picture of the figures with your 3 megapixel digital camera, or maybe a medium quality picture with a higher resolution camera. You edited your image and it looks great. You then saved it as a highest resolution JPEG. So now you have this file that's a few megabytes. This is too big to be reasonable for most web pages, so you need to look at editing it down for the web. Since you are the master of image adjustment, this will be no problem for you. First, the little one, resize and crop. Now for the bigger pic. That you need to get down to 150K. You don't need it quite this big, so first a little resizing. But we want this one to also be printable, so we don't want to take the resolution too low. Let's bring it down to 200 and see how that goes. Let's go back into File, Save for Web. This time we only need to show 2 up at a time because we know it is going to be JPEG. We can adjust the quality of the output a bit to get the size just right if we need to. And voila! We have a size under 150K, no problem. The example so far used the Save for Web feature. This is a feature found in a fully loaded Photoshop version. If you are using something like Photoshop Elements, which is very popular in schools, you can still accomplish everything mentioned here by selecting File, Save As. When you select your target file type, which would be GIF in the first example, you will have all the options available to you. Just remember that by changing the size of your image to one that is needed and the resolution to one that is applicable, like the web, you can dramatically change the size of your files and make it much easier for people to see what you want them to on the web. And good luck selling your action figures.